Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Pinball Arcade. Where is the cursor? Alright, interesting how that kind of jumped down like that. Um, so we did Xenon last time and we're back to a run of two tables that don't have pro modes, which makes me suspect what is going on is that these tables were the first generation of tables released for Pinball Arcade, and they're actually secretly running on an older version of the engine. That would certainly be believable when you hit start here. Uh, kind of ironically, that also means that some of the best tables that they would have picked first to license are probably some of the worst performing tables, and seemingly they never had enough time or interest to go back and like remaster the tables to the newest version of the tables, or program it in such a way that there would be um, forward compatibility. If my assumption here is wrong and they all are running on the exact same engine, then there really is no explanation for there not being a pro mode other than maybe a licensing agreement issue. But you could easily give something called pro mode for free to everybody and let you fly around and look at the table. That's all we're really asking, all I'm really asking for. So this is our first 1981 table, Black Hole trademark. We'll see how many of these are actually trademarked. Um, there is a difference, I think, also as far as copyright and trademarks, and they're using trademarks more and more uh, around the exact name Black Hole versus the stylized logo of Black Hole. I think you probably could have a copyright claim or a trademark claim for the stylized logo and defend that a lot better than you can just using the word black hole. And of course, in '81, maybe black hole was a weird enough phrase that it was trademarkable. Nowadays, that'd be ridiculous. This was the first table to ever feature the revolutionary lower reversed playing surface. However, its biggest claim to fame is that it was the first accepted table that cost 50 cents to play, which quickly made it the highest earning pin game in the history of the industry. With its fast paced gameplay and unique feature set, this table is considered a classic that was ahead of its time. Ahead of its time, also slightly in price. 8,774 units of this table were produced. So, yeah, when you have no pro menu, you can't really do anything. There's no table set up here that lets you change the number of balls once again. So that just leaves you with the flyer, which this is a Gottlieb table, and as you can see on the flyer, there's a little bit of ad copy and text highlighting the table. Um, but not anything amazing, certainly, on these flyers. Of course, why would there be anything amazing on these flyers? Our goals are to survive re-entry from the lower level, lock a ball in the upper level, advance the GeForce accelerator to 1G, collect special from the upper level, and score at least 250,000 from the lower level bonus. And so a lot of this is going to focus directly with the reverse lower level. Um, it is fairly weird to have a reverse lower level play field. Like, having a lower level play field makes sense, but to have the ball falling and falling downward away from you just really flips everything around, and thematically kind of makes sense as far as like a black hole twisting you around, but it doesn't really play that well. You can see in the upper playfield there's 3 bumpers of smaller size and kind of custom design that are in weird misalignments. On the left is the lane that you get into to sink into the lower playfield, and further to the left of that is, I believe, just a sink trap. I don't think it does anything else. I'm not sure if it's been a while since I played this table, so I'm not sure if it has multi-ball, and if it did have multi-ball, it would be kind of a weird experience, to say the least. The flippers in the reverse lower playfield are slightly closer to each other, and since it is a smaller playfield in general, there is relatively less that you can actually do in the playfield, but there is a heavy emphasis to do the things that you can do in the playfield. And since this camera is just in an attract mode, you really can't see the rest of the table very much. It seems like one of the factors is, since the lower playfield is mostly being taken up by the clear acrylic glass, or very possibly just clear glass at that time. This pinball tables, I guess, were the beginnings of a lot of plastic usage. This is a table that you can't really make the comparison or complaint about there being nothing in the lower playfield. But we can see some definite weirdness in the lower left of the screen. There's a bumper that kind of could easily bump into a left out lane. Looks like there might be a ball return in the right out lane. There's the double flippers are making a return on the right side. Although this time it seems like you're not heavily likely to accidentally fling a ball under that right flipper and have the ball fall out from the bottom, but maybe you can. So we'll have to see in play if that really happens or not, because I don't know if that covered up part below the most right flipper is blocked, or if it is just a tunnel to lead to another drain out. We have the metal wires under the flippers once again, which I still don't think those are really there to help you. There is a screen, a 6-digit LCD screen at the bottom of the reverse playfield, so that might imply a lot of your score, which that's an interesting idea, certainly, to potentially have the player focus their attention lower to the lower playfield. Alright, so I just captured a ball, so that does tell me that is a multi-ball.
3 and 3 accomplished.
And it re-enters from the ejector on the right side. There's kind of nothing. There's a drain to the out lane. There's kind of nothing going on the upper on the upper part of the table. Not as much as you would expect. There's kind of a wide empty area in the upper playfield, kind of making up for the fact that how much content is actually in the I think I have to probably get that to loop a few times to lock.
3 and 3 3 accomplished.
And I don't have a lane change feature. Lane change feature. So that was a decent little warm-up play. And I guess ideally in the top lane you would want to probably line it up so that it always goes down that center lane. That way it can bounce back up like it just did. Let's see if we can get a different camera angle here. Like ideally I'd want to see the whole table, but there is something to there's something to this artwork. It's just so incredibly blue. Like, I usually wouldn't want to complain about artistic decisions here, but this is very visually distracting. There's just way too much blue here. I feel like you might just not survive re-entry from this section unless you score a certain amount of points, but seems like that requirement is fairly low. They don't want you to drain out from that upper playfield and then immediately drain out into the entire table. There's practically nothing to shoot on the right side of the table. Just a couple of standing targets and a couple of drop-down targets in a lane, none of which seem to really matter. This is also a table that's not heavily focusing on audio compared to like Xenon, which was talking to you the whole time, or Black Knight, or any number of other tables that came out a year earlier. This would be a table that I would imagine I would dislike a lot more if it was a wide body table. And I don't know if there's any good argument for that. See, so there's an instance of it failing, and then in that case it just drains directly to the out lane. So there is a major danger. I feel like all you really probably have to do is just hit the bumper once and you're fine. But there are going to be some scenarios where that does not work. See, I've hit that 3 times. If that was going to capture a ball, it would have done it by now. Because it drains out to the right side, you could potentially get very good at just shooting it right back up the left ramp or middle ramp and launching it right back to the upper playfield or the under playfield. Black hole, I think, is kind of revolutionary, but in a weird way, I would deny it the title of classic, because it does something interesting, and interesting often is relevant, historically speaking, but it doesn't inherently mean that it's good. And I don't think I'm fully convinced that this table is that good.
3 and 3 accomplished.
There's just a lot of ways to fail and a lot of ways to shoot the ball and have nothing happen.
Captured.
Let's see, since several of the quests are directly focused on the lower ball bonus, the only way I can even
3 and 3
get
accomplished.
a good score or get those standard quests done is to become incredibly good at getting the ball back to the lower playfield. And that's not just for the Pinball Arcade. That is pretty much the only way this table plays. It's all about that one shot. And a table that is focused around, can you make this one shot over and over again? It's not particularly fun.
GeForce accelerated.
There, I guess I knocked down all the drop-down targets enough to increase the G-force. And get another quest. This is a table that feels like it holds on to a decent amount of the progress you've made. But I've been able to lock the ball several times and still not really succeed at starting a multi-ball. And I'm still fairly uncertain as to what I'm even supposed to do to start a multi-ball. It feels like there's either something I've completely missed, or like I don't even know what to do to lock a second ball if it is a 3-ball multi-ball.
3 and 3 accomplished.
You desperately want to keep the ball away from the left outlane. It doesn't feel like there's even a score multiplier that happens on this table. If it is, it's just accomplished by doing the light ups in the top lanes. Or it's accomplished by doing something very obscure or doing something a lot of times.
Accomplished.
This is a table that sounds very dull in comparison to a lot of the previous tables we've been listening to. There's just not a lot of background, there's no background music at all, and it is very kind of standard sound effects, things you would have heard on any number of other tables. See, that was 500,000, so I'm halfway up the score sheet. And what am I still looking to do? Lock the ball on the upper level. The second captive hole on the upper level always scores 5,000 points. It must be lit before it will capture a ball. By completing a bank of target spots, the score 3,000 points when lit and 5,000 points when unlit. Shoot the lit captive hole to lock the ball. Once 2 balls are locked in the captive hole, shoot the ball through the gravity tunnel again to reach the low level and start 2-ball multi-ball. Remember to complete the bank drop targets here or here to open the gate during multi-ball. During multi-ball, the gate will stay open. When it's open, balls drained from the lower playfield return to the in lane instead of to the out lane. Once both balls drain from the lower field, the third ball from the upper level will be released for a 3-ball multi-ball. Okay, so there's a little bit of randomness there. How do you collect a special? The roll under here scores 5,000 when unlit. Each time you complete this bank of drop targets on the lower playfield, it will advance the value of the roll under. The values of our 10,000, extra ball, and special. Shoot the roll under with the extra ball, the special lit to collect them. Complete both black and whole sequences in order. Will light a special at these drop targets on the lower field. See, I don't even see the drop targets because they're like obscured in the wrong direction, which definitely is a problem. Complete the bank of the drop targets to collect a special. Okay. And then score at least 250,000 from the lower level bonus. Let's see. It's the only bonus for this table is awarded at the end of each table. The bonus can be increased from the low level. Shoot the ball through the gravity hole to reach the low level. On the low level, every point scored adds to the bonus instead of the overall score. To increase the low level bonus, score even more, advance the bonus multiplier, and light the G4 accelerators. Refer to those chapters for more details. So then I have to come over here and figure out how do you increase the bonus multiplier. Another way to increase the low level bonus is to advance the bonus multiplier. It can be advanced up to 5 by completing the top rollovers. It can also be advanced by completing the roll under there on the low level. Bonus multiplier. It sets to 1 times once the ball is drained. Okay. So theoretically, I should have had some decent bonus multipliers, but kind of obviously not enough. So you have a couple of shots you need to pull off. There's a couple of shots that need to be pulled off for both sides of the table. Mostly I need to get all of the lights on the far, on the standing targets on the right. I need to hit each of those to get the upper playfield locked. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to get multiplayer. There must not be a drain under that furthest right flipper. Either that or it's just very, very difficult to actually drain from that. I'm shooting it. I've shot it up that right lane a few times and it's still not pulling it off. It's not increasing the multiplayer. I'm gonna have to get better with the plunger also. Those standing targets are just kind of impossible to hit. Like, I'm either going to accidentally go too low and hit a slingshot, which this table, I guess, in all fairness, basically has no slingshot at all on the right side. But the slingshot on the left is also fairly weak, so it's not feeding into any standing target hits on the right. I'd say the angles on this table are pretty awful. Yeah, I need to get better at not getting to the lower playfield so much as to getting to that rightmost ramp on the left. Because I'm not getting that shot at all. Yeah, you pretty much end up in this lower playfield more than you really want to for some of these quests and some of these elements. So I shot that once and that increased it to 2 times. I didn't go all the way through on that one. Didn't go all the way through on that one. It wants me to get like 250,000 points, and even if I had a 5 times multiplier there, that feels like that would be a fairly hard shot to pull off. And I hit all the standing drop targets, and then it lit up the in lane, and falling down that in lane would have been fairly difficult. Still running into the same old no center peg problem, or the problem that you run into with a lot of pinball tables, where it is just let's see, it said re-entry accomplished, and still that drained into the out lane. So either the game glitched there, or the game is just sometimes unfair. Which I imagine a lot of pinball tables occasionally would glitch and do the wrong thing. And that would just be them's the breaks, as it were. You could probably complain to a arcade person, and depending how generous they want to be, they'd give you a free coin or two. Like, ideally what you would want to have happen here is you would want, at the very least, a guarantee of, right, there's 5 times score, so now we need to hit the bumper more than anything else.
3 and 3 accomplished.
Like, you would want a guarantee of safety from draining out from the lower playfield, and not a 50% chance of safety. There's just so many shots here.
3 and 3 accomplished.
And if I want to get 250 score from the lower playfield, I'm going to have to reach that lower playfield a lot more times, or stay in the lower playfield a lot more times. A 5 score multiplier still means you need 50,000 points, which is a fairly successful run. I failed to even once lock the upper playfield ball. I've failed to really get the drop targets going. I just feel like they thought that you were gonna score a lot more in this playfield, and just doesn't really happen because everything is so close to you. It just flings the ball back faster. We do have a shoot again lit up, which that's nice. So I must have gotten the extra ball through the underlane, which I guess means if I could get the third ramp shot, if I could have gotten that third ramp shot, I might have been in for the special. And I suppose if the loop on the right got the ball behind the bumper instead of in front of the bumper, then you might have more success with the bumper. Let's see. And I'm still just playing this like I normally like to play tables, just trying to keep everything in play and get the ball to go as far as possible. This is kind of a great example of if the wizard goals and the standard goals were just around the idea of scoring an amount of point, I would be able to probably pull off most wizard goals. Almost certainly, if I could manage to get a 3-ball multi-ball going, might be able to accomplish everything else just by the random effect at that point. It's really, really hard to get the ball to be slow on the left flipper, though. There's just no way to capture the ball and actually have it take its time and aim. See, I'm at about 30,000 now. So if I could just get the score multiplier up to 5 times 5, then I could get 250,000 now. That's the if part, though. Meanwhile, I'm still trying to get the special. Okay, we did get the special. Which pretty much means either hit the standing targets on the right, the lower right, or launch the ball up to the lower playfield again and get more of a score multiplier. Alright, there's score times 2. So, just gotta hit it a couple more times. More score won't hurt, but it's definitely not the focus.
3 and 3 accomplished.
See, that was a point where it just felt like the table just wanted me to fail. Up to 60%. 60,000 points. That's score times 3. That's score times 4. Come on, score times 5, just so we're certain, so we don't have to do the math. Score times 5 at 80,000 should be enough to get us where we need to go. Now it's all about... I don't think we can even increase the score any, so we just want to kind of make sure that we have enough points here. And since this really is our only bonus anyways, we might as well focus on this. So we need the standing targets hit in the lower right to get multi-ball. That is really our only goal. We can get the score higher, all we want. But that's not going to really help us. Okay. It's saying it has some text saying the gate is open at the top, helping you out a little bit. Oh, shoot. So now we've got the upper playfield location locked. We just need to be fairly careful. The gate is open, which is weird because it said the gate was open before, but then the animation on the side seemed to indicate it wasn't. We've got to get the far right ramp shot. If we want to do this the right way. And that's hard to pull off, and that's not the shot we've been going for. They kind of put the most annoying lane in the middle, so that every time you miss to the left or the right, you're completely in a bad place to try and make another shot. I guess the good news is we keep getting shoot agains, so we should take advantage of that. And I'm not sure if I should be trying the shot with the lower right flipper or if I should be trying the shot with the upper right flipper. I feel like it's probably the lower right flipper. That would be the one that would make more sense. And I will say, even though this is a table that I'm not super enthusiastic about, it's not terrible. Like, I have been playing this for a while. So I am still kind of running into that scenario where I can't put it down. And there's no way to nudge that ball back into play when it's draining into the out lane. Not without some serious luck. There are definitely ways to improve a table like this. First of all, just get rid of the blue. Like, have at least an accent color that is more than just black and purples in a few places. Turn the playfield around so it's playing the normal way that gravity works. I'm glad the right flipper still affects the right flippers. That would have really sucked if they had inverted the flippers too. There are a couple of pinball tables that do that, and it's never really appreciated as a gimmick. kickback central pegs. Get rid of the bumper in the low left area. That's just completely useless, man. I totally was distracted there. And why that is the only regular size bumper is questionable, to say the least. This will be our last game. This is also a table where it's kind of hard to figure what would be required in the wizard quests, the wizard goals. Like, it feels like you could see just some repeated elements, scoring high scores, getting an even higher bonus score. Like, I don't think you can increase gravity past 1G. I don't think there's an easy way to earn credits. This is a table that kind of focuses on its single gimmick to its own detriment.
GeForce accelerated.
Yeah, anytime I shoot for these targets on the right, I nearly drain out because you have to flick from the edge. Yeah, in a weird way, I would say that Black Hole is, again, historically relevant, full of firsts, but not really one of my favorite tables. I'm not super excited by that concept, or really the implementation more than the concept. The idea of a playfield under a playfield is kind of a great concept. It's just not implemented well, and it's not fun to play for the rest of the table. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.